Hey people, Singji here. This is day 7 dinner. Today I get served quinoa. That's some atas stuff right there, man. Chicken, edamame, broccoli and carrots, baby carrots, and so I have to cake from lunch and dinner. I might eat them, but I also have fruits from I think 3 days worth of fruits now, so I probably gotta eat some after this. Alright. Gonna grab my cutlery and then we'll start. Let's see. Are there any cool videos to watch today? Aw, no new uploads. Okay, let's see whether my old aquarium channel has anything cool. Green aqua. Huh. Building a Brazilian style contest aquarium part 1. Shopping guide. Nope. Oh, this is actually quite interesting. Yeah, let me read this here. So,
welcome to the beautiful world of aquascape. The point of this video would be to show you what happens after day 1. We always make these tutorials about setting up a new tank and showing you how it looks after 2 weeks. Now we can actually make a journal for you on the first 2 months of this aquarium. So you're gonna see how the plants grow, you're gonna see how much algae we have after starting up. So please join me on the journey.
whoa.
I'm gonna build a 60p aquarium now. I've actually prepared the hardscape this morning. I go back to nature style. I'm gonna lay down a border of Fuji stones in the front and then build some ironwood on top of it. 6 pieces of wood, which we glued together. And that's why it was important that I try to build the same base so it can sit on it the same way. That's it for the hardscape. It was quick, wasn't it? Our maintenance guy is gonna hate me. It's basic, there's no space in here to the glass and very little space in here. Now I'm gonna introduce the soil in the back. I'm gonna use ADA Amazonia version 2. I'm not gonna use any fertilizer substrate underneath because there's only gonna be a few stem plants, and with the new Amazonia version 2 you get these fertilizing nutrients capsules. This amount is perfect if you plan to use on the base of a full 60p aquarium.
Get some water.
I'm gonna use small pieces of filter mesh to prevent the soil from coming forward onto the sand area. Actually, I have to be honest, I didn't glue the wood pieces together. It was Laurie helping me, so thank you, Laurie. As you may remember, I have some issues with glue. Falling started. gonna have full-on red stem background behind the trees. As the first layer of plants, I'm gonna use the Anubias Nana Bonsai, which is gonna go in between the rocks and the wood pieces.
Oh my god, I really don't dare to imagine what my tank looks like now.
We have a guest. There's a snail on the plant. When you look at a proper nature style tank, it doesn't have heavy hardscape pieces like these two. And we're gonna make these look lighter by covering most of it with plants, and ferns are the best for that. As the very last touch, I'm gonna use some Cryptocoryne parva. I'm gonna put these on the sides so I
Cryptocoryne.
don't have the reds in the reflections. I'm gonna put these in front of the reds on the very side of the aquarium. Small bits of Fuji stone to add to the front, and second layer of protection against the soil coming into the front. And that's it. We are done. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye. I'm just kidding. Roll the intro.
I have to say, man, this channel really makes quality
So
content.
It's day 7 for this aquarium. It's been running for a week. We had to put some weighing stones on the wood. Even though they've been glued together into one quite big and heavy piece, they still started to come up when we filled the aquarium. I'm perfectly happy actually. After 1 week, the tank is running extremely fine. Usually we don't have this. We have at least some plants starting to melt, but there's no sign of that in here.
Wow.
Our routine for starting an aquarium is 50% water change every day.
Why, yeah?
The first week. So that basically ends today. This morning was the last of the daily water changes. What we make sure of when we do these water changes is that we remineralize the water and we fertilize the water. So we do all these from day 1. Remineralizing is really important to keep a stable pH in
Okay.
the aquarium. If you just pour it in and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a water change tomorrow as well, why bother? You have to bother because RO water has a really low pH for any kind of bacteria to start developing. So basically, up to the point you start remineralizing your water and keeping your pH above 5.8, something like that, you don't have any filtration, any biological filtration. Most of you are familiar with this product. It's a GH+, which we're using for remineralizing our aquariums for the past 2 years or something like that. Now, it came out with a GH/KH+. In most aquariums, you don't need this, you need only the GH+. But in a tank like this, where there is nothing in the aquarium that would raise KH, we use the GH/KH+, because you need a little bit of KH to keep pH stable in the tank. I know a lot of letters just throwing around. We always say you only need to measure TDS. That's 95% true. In most things, you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about any of this if you're using tap water. It's completely different. But if you're using RO water and you don't have anything in your water that would raise the KH, you need a little bump with this one. The other thing is fertilization. We start fertilizing from day 1.
Okay,
This
makes sense.
has always been a tricky topic in aquascaping. A lot of people say that you only need to start fertilizing after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks. There's a lot of different opinions on that. What our experience shows is that if you use any in vitro plants in your aquarium, you have to start fertilizing from day 1. If you only use potted ones, you can start after 1 week or 2 weeks,
Okay.
because you have some fertilizers dissolving from the soil
Makes
you
sense.
use. So that's enough. Liquid or gel culture of the in vitro plants is very, very rich in nutrients. So once you take the plant out of that environment, they still need a lot of nutrients, and that's why you have to start fertilizing from day 1. In this aquarium, as in the whole showroom, we fertilize with ADA. We use the Bright Decay and the mineral from the start, and later on we're going to start adding the Bright Iron. What ADA fertilization gives you is control over the plants. If there is, for example, the green aqua macro fertilizers, they give you very lush colors, very strong plants, but very quick growth. That's really good if you just want to enjoy one tank at home. But if you have to maintain 20 something aquariums, I don't even know how many tanks we have here, then you want some kind of slower growth, and for that ADA is perfect. A lot of you guys think that we do daily maintenance on these tanks and so on. We see these in the YouTube comments. We don't. We do the same weekly maintenance as we would do with a home aquarium.
Wow.
I've put some Rotala Vietnam HRA in the back, which is a really nice red plant. The really deep red colors only come out if you use a fertilization that is low on nitrates, and ADA is that kind.
Yep. Shit.
So
I'm quite a geek. I actually know this.
Of this project. After 2 weeks, we usually introduce the agitators, and we've done the same in this case. We added some Amano shrimps and Cliton snails last evening, actually. Plants are still growing quite well. There is no melting at all, which is sometimes a problem even for us, but not in this case. Oh, usual 2-week problem with any woodscapes. There is a slight slimy thing on the wood itself. That's perfectly normal. It's some kind of fungus. Whenever you introduce a new piece of wood into water, there's gonna grow sometimes really thin, sometimes really thick layer of fungus on the wood itself. It's like a white jelly stuff. Perfectly normal, perfectly safe. You don't have to worry about it. It's whenever you introduce the agitators, they're gonna gladly eat it. The other thing is, whenever you do the water changes, you can simply suck it off. If you have plants on the wood itself, just make sure that this slimy fungus thing doesn't cover the plants, because that can kill the plants. But if it's just by its side, it's perfectly normal and perfectly safe. We had to clean the glass in and outlets. Bacteria starts to cover the inside of the filter hoses and the in and outlets. On the second week, we do 50% water changes every other day. Now it's the week part. We're gonna have the second week with only 2 water changes. There we're gonna have the once a week 50% water change. So that's simple now.
Wow.
Rotala is growing quite well in the back. It doesn't have the red colors yet. The red plants don't really get red after a few weeks. They need a lot of time to get really deep red, especially if they're in vitro, like in this case with the Rotala Vietnam. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait about another 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to get the reddish color, and only after a few trims does it come out really strong, as you see in the other aquascapes in the gallery. Oh, and I have to remove the rocks. I'm gonna try to remove the rocks, let's put it that way. It's always just hoping for the best. Okay. Left side seems fine. Yeah, right side as well.
Nice.
So yeah, 2 weeks. It's week 3 now, nothing major has happened. The only thing is we've introduced the fish, which is Daisy's rice fish in this instance.
Yeah,
We
that
don't
was
use
clear.
them enough, I think. They're really nice fish, and they're the perfect example of you going into a pet store. They look like nothing. They don't have any colors and everything, but you put them in a proper tank, and in a few weeks' time they have these beautiful deep blue tints with orange fins. They're really gonna look beautiful.
Okay.
So use this fish much more than you do it now.
Oh wow.
We are at week 5 and 6 because we missed week 5. We actually forgot to make new footage. But yeah, there's nothing special happening with the tank. It's actually running quite well. The only thing is we had some algae coming out on the wood on the right side of the tank. Actually, there's nothing on the left side, but I can see some green spots and some maybe BBA algae on the wood. It's perfectly normal. The tank is 1 month old. in the first 2 or 3 months, algae is coming and going. It's nothing to worry about. All the plants are still perfectly nice. We've covered the holes which we're missing with some Anubias bonsai. Oh, the red is coming out in the backside, so the Rotala is coming strong. I think we're about 1 or 2 weeks away from the first trim. Finally, we made it to 2021. We're still alive. Finally, we have some issues. I've been waiting for this since the start of the tank to actually show you how to solve something if it goes bad. The issue is, from time to time, there is difficulty in getting algae eaters. Sometimes the amano shrimps are missing from the market, sometimes the otocinclus. Now we are missing the amanos. And you can clearly see on the wood that we would need them very much in this tank. So here comes in these tools. It's basically like a toothbrush. This is metal wired brush. This can quite easily take off the algae from any wood or rock surfaces. It's really good in that. Well, it's not replacing the amanos, but it can help you when you can't source them anywhere. I've heard that next week we're gonna finally receive some, so now I'm gonna remove all the algae that I can, and then the amano is gonna take over in keeping the tank clean in the future. The other thing is, it's not an issue, it's a happy thing. Finally, the Rotala came up in the back. It's growing nicely, and it's time for the first trim. I've had basically the same amount of Rotalas in the left and the right side, but somehow the wood is making some shadows on the right side to the back. In that part, the Rotala is a bit smaller than on the left side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim the left side. Obviously, I'm gonna top some of it, so I'm gonna put back the top pieces, but I'm gonna save some for the right side to make it richer and denser before it actually grows out by itself. What we like to do here in the showroom, so we don't have these ugly cut tops even for those few days. We replant the tops that we've saved. This way you can create a fake top with the nice colored edges. So, new weapon. This is an ADA Pro Picker. It looks like a dentist tool, but it's really good for removing stuff like this. This is BBA, black brush algae. It actually turned to this grayish greenish color, which usually indicates that it's dying. The worst thing about BBA is even when it's dead, it doesn't really disappear. This is the final log. We're actually about 2 days away from the actual premiere of this video, so you're just on time. So yeah, this is the final look. This is how a tank looks like after a bit more than 2 months. This is how your tank should look like after 2 months. If you see more algae than this, that you're doing something wrong. It was a really easy setup. We didn't have any of the issues we could have. Sometimes the power goes out and then we lose all the bacteria in our filters. Sometimes the CO2 canister goes empty and we don't notice in time. Algae again. You can have the timer set for the light, and you have the light on for the night, when you go away or something like that. Things like this, these always happen to us, and not this time we could actually show you. So you have to imagine all this.
Allah.
I'm sure that some of you have already been through all this. Basically, what you need to do in these cases is get rid of all the algae physically, whatever you can. Just scrape it off, wash the plants, make sure that you put in more bacteria, so something like cecum stability or probiotic, biodigest, biotrace, these stuff, so your tank can get better quicker than if you just leave it to be. Also, in these cases, if you have any big algae problems, more frequent water changes.
Yeah.
That's always a good option. Just make sure that you keep your fertilizers at levels. Always have to re-fertilize after big water changes or frequent water changes. There was a bit of a lie in this video. Wherever you saw me doing water changes and putting in fish and everything, it wasn't me. So obviously we have a huge staff here to do that. I've done the plant trimming myself and scraping off the edge of the wood. Obviously at home you have to deal with all this alone, but I think that's the fun and that's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
If you just have about 20-30 minutes work for every week, which is reasonable for a 60p even with problems, then that's your 30 minutes for that week to shut the world off completely and just enjoy aquascaping. That's what it's all about. See you next week. Bye.
Well done, man.
Since we've been doing this for 9 weeks, I'm not sure if I've already said this, so please subscribe, join a membership, and like this video as always.
Next week on Green Aqua, Tommy, the hero of Iwagumi, sets up a beginner nano tank. Join us for the birth of a 20-liter or 5-gallon mini Rocky Mountain landscape.
Who the hell is that voiceover? This channel has really revolutionized itself, man. What a years. Well done. Okay. So I'm done with the main dinner. Maybe get a
long time ago
fruit.
at Green Aqua, Balaj eats algae and teaches you how to fight it, while very loud Indian music plays.
Shit, I forgot you could do this now. Damn it.
Okay, this is really, really ugly. It's nice, I don't even see the hardscape. This looks like a science fiction picture, right? What is that? What did you say? How should I say hello today?
Exhausting.
Oh, welcome to the exhausting world
Edge-escaping.
of edge-escaping, but that's too complicated for me. I'm just gonna say it the positive way. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. Welcome to Miss LG Universe. Yay! Thanks for sending in all the videos and pictures featured today. Thanks for the friendly messages that came along. You guys are great. You saved the day. I'm proud to say that we don't have enough material on Edgy here at Green Aqua. When I always state this at the beginning of the videos, please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Please hit that like button to bring this video to a wider audience. This helps us a lot. And also please consider becoming a channel member. This helps the production of this channel. Thanks for that. Me and my teammates here at Green Aqua have been in the hobby for a long, long time, talking to thousands of customers, following their paths. So believe me when I tell you, the number one reason why people leave the hobby is algae. A small part of this video will teach you how to fight algae. The bigger part will teach you how to avoid it.
Oh wow, half an
This
hour.
is the second Algae Guide edition. We have an older video on the topic. You might also want to check that out after you've seen this one. Let me warn you though, this video will only reach its goal if you stay with me through it, because I can't make it visually appealing or fast-paced. You will only understand what I'm trying to say if you watch this attentively. You can't skip the waffle. Alright, let's talk algae. Here we go.
Oh god. I think it's gonna be so fun.
Once you understand that you need to set up your tank in a way that prevents algae bloom, you have already increased your chances of enjoying this hobby for a longer time. Okay, but how do you create those conditions not favorable for algae? Well, you learn those conditions, right? Problem is, you'll encounter 3 obstacles in that process. The first one is conflicting information. Everybody preaches about their own perfect ways. There are some really strong and aggressive movements in this hobby out there. The second obstacle, you will soon realize that the more money you throw at this hobby, the safer you will be. I can already sense the tension growing in some of you. No, I want it, but I'm broke. Or no, my wife will kill me if I spend a fortune on a tank. If you are in this group, and this is an issue for you, then please understand that you will be more open to the alternative movements mentioned in point 1. The third obstacle that prevents us from having an algae-free petri tank is human nature. We are too proud. Most of us, myself included, tend to blame the circumstances or others and tend to enumerate our achievements instead of listening, studying, and being humble. Let me tell you a typical story. This is what's gonna happen to most beginners. Okay, so my friend Hans wants a planted tank, badly. He has seen our videos, pictures of beautiful aquascapes on the internet. He fell in love with their impact, with the beauty of these gorgeous tanks. Hans will start to watch videos on different channels.
Bye-bye.
He will start reading forums, looking at articles